Okay, so Becky, we kind of went over the part of this, and the reason why I went through that with you is I was trying to get you excited about the revenue stream that you could realize from having an effective SEO marketing campaign. And I would say this, I can't, you can't swear by those numbers, but I think as long as you look at those numbers realistically and you make realistic goals and plot that out, you can almost figure out where you're going to be when you're done with this process.
Right.
And if you can see where you're going, it's a lot easier to make a commitment to go forward if you know where you're going to end up. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about SEO. SEO, really, it's natural SEO, stands for search engine marketing. Natural search engine marketing is the process by which we would help you get ranking in Google, Bing, and Yahoo naturally without having to pay for each click-through when someone finds your link and clicks on it. And that's what natural is. Natural is by the power of your website and various other things. So SEO is broken up into two major categories. The first part of SEO is called on-site or on-page optimization. We take your website and we make sure that the keywords that you have chosen, and that's a big part of the beginning of SEO, is choosing keywords that when people search for them, you want to be found under. So, for instance, you wanted to be found under facial moisturizer, was it?
Right.
So we would make sure that the words facial moisturizer appear a certain number of times in various places on the website. Some of them will be visual and the client can see it, but some of them will be behind the scenes and the ultimate, browser, the person browsing your website wouldn't be able to see them. So some of them will simply be in the text and descriptions of your products and services. Others will be put into non-viewable areas. Specifically, they're called meta tags and page headers and things like that appear behind the scenes, but they're there for a very important reason, and they're there because every so often, and by every so often I mean once a month or so, Google is able to scan every single domain, URL, web page from the top to the bottom. That's all they do with this an analysis. And when they scan across your website, they look for things. They're trying to rank your site. They're trying to figure out who should come first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. One part of that is that when someone looks for facial moisturizer, if you don't have the words facial moisturizer in a certain word density on your page, they look less favorably on that and they put you 10th versus first. Along with things like meta tags, and for instance, when you have a picture on your website, you need to put something called an alt tag on there. An alt tag on there explains the value or what that picture is of, because Google can't look at a picture really. But if you put a text tag, so for instance, you could put facial moisturizing bottle. That would be your alt tag. And that would be a picture of the actual moisturizing bottle. If it was an attractive bottle and you thought people would want to see what the product looked like before they got it, you would want to have an alt tag on there. Those are things that we call on-site optimization. It all starts with you choosing 5 to 10 keywords, and those keywords would be facial moisturizer, face moisturizer, hand moisturizer, other products related to beauty care that you might also sell.
Okay.
The second half of SEO marketing really involves off-site or off-page optimization. One of the things that Google has done in their algorithms for ranking companies on the internet, and Yahoo and Bing do the same thing, is that they want to see who is linked to you. So it's not enough that you have your own website and that it says the right things on your website. But they want to know whether other sites link into you. So let's say that you have a special relationship with the manufacturer of your product. There might be a page on their site that says who their strategic partners are or who their dealers are, and you're one of those dealers. And in that directory, you'd want to have a link back to your website. That link back to your website is called a backlink. And it has a lot of value. It has a lot of value for two reasons. One, it says that a third party, an independent third party, is interested in you. Interested enough that they're willing to put your link on their page. Almost as important, if not more importantly, is that the link is relevant. It's coming from a site that sells a product that you're interested in selling. If it was, a site about volleyball, Google would say this isn't relevant, and it does not give it as much credence as a site that's very relevant. The more links that you have like that, the better. Those links can be created many different ways. Some of those ways include something called article writing and then submission. So we would write an article about facial moisturizer and place it all over the internet in different places. There are all types of blogs and article submission sites where you can put content. When you put it there, it's a link back to you. So we could write 2 or 3 articles in a month. They're not that long. They're 400 or 500 words. And then we submit them to maybe 40 sites. All of a sudden what you have is you have 40 links back to you, all relevant, because the content that we wrote in the article is by its very nature relevant to the products that you're selling. It's not a straight out sell. They're not that silly. But if you start to talk about the ingredients that go into your facial moisturizer, or who else uses the moisturizer, or things like that, all of that would be relevant. So when you other links, the other ways to build links are to have what's called directory links. Directory links are, there are online yellow pages out there. There are all types of online directories out there, and you can get placed in those. Another way of having backlinks are social media sites like Spoke and Facebook and things like that, where you might write something and then put a link back to your site in what you wrote. And blogging is another way. You can have a blog about facial moisturizer, and that blog then links back to you. Okay. All the things that we're talking about are something that we do for you. All we really need ultimately is for you to say, I'm interested in this, I'd like to move forward. We ask a little work up front to help us create the keywords, and we're talking 5 to 10 keywords, not a lot. And the rest really we do for you. Does this sound like it's a place you'd want to go from a business point of view?
Yes, it does.
Great. Can you hold on just a second?